Good afternoon. Know that you're anxiously awaiting this video, but I had a few things that I wanted to do with my face-to-face class today to help you out with today's information. So now that I have that complete, I will do a video for you all, my virtual people that I miss seeing. Hope you've had a great weekend. Before I start today, I want to take some time to go back and review some of the things that we've been talking about through Management 386 and 387. I want to be sure that as we enter the creativity portion of this class, that you do not lose sight of the entrepreneurial concepts, the model, and the process that we should follow to create solutions to problems. So I'm going to take a few minutes now, and you can take notes on this or just keep the video as you please. But I would love to spend some time talking to you about the entrepreneurial process. So bear with me for just a moment here. Let me get to a point to where I can share screen with you. And I am going to work on the virtual whiteboard. Now, I'm not very good on it, so bear with me, but hopefully I can get the point across and help you all understand where we are in the entrepreneurial process. Okay, so you should be able to see the whiteboard now. And what I want to do is I want to start with back at the beginning of 386. And that is starting with the entrepreneur. This is us. That's you. And this circle that surrounds you is your bounded rationale. Everything inside this circle is everything that we know, that you know as an individual. It is based upon time and it's based upon experience. And we know that one of the first steps in being a successful entrepreneur is to have a keen sense of self-awareness. And so hopefully we've spent some time looking inside that bounded rationale, developing and writing out our strengths and weaknesses, understanding our personality traits, our other behaviors, and our attitudes, so that we have a really, really clear idea of who we are as a person. We know what skills we are good at and where we need help. So this is the first step. After we do this, we understand that we need to try to eliminate risk and uncertainty in the business process. So risk is something that can be measured. And if it can be measured, that means we know about it. So risk resides inside our bounded rationale. However, uncertainty are things that we don't know and can't measure. So this means uncertainty resides outside of our bounded rationale. However, as entrepreneurs, we know that in order to be successful, we have to constantly work to mitigate, minimize risk and uncertainty. So how do we do that with uncertainty if it's out there outside our bounded rationale and we don't know about it? Well, this is where we use everything we know about ourselves to go out and recruit a really, really good A-team. Now, what we're looking for in our team members are people who have information inside their bounded rationale that we don't have, who have skill sets that we don't have, and who have strengths where we have weaknesses. So that when we build our team, we're hoping that those things added together help to increase our collective bounded rationale. And we can see here that as that circle gets bigger, that now uncertainty is no longer here, but now it's out here. Thereby, we have minimized uncertainty that much by choosing a great A-team. So after we've done this, then we can move on with the entrepreneurial process. Now we know that all businesses exist to solve a problem. So in order to identify those problems and the opportunities associated with them, we need to, as entrepreneurs, be using our entrepreneurial awareness to look around. Look around and have a keen awareness of where these opportunities and problems pop up. We use this entrepreneurial awareness to make observations. So we will observe things in our world, but businesses don't exist to solve observations. Businesses exist to solve problems. So we need to take the next step, and this is what the 386 class is working on right now, to really look at those observations and from there truly identify what the problem is. And in order to do this, we're going to have to practice our empathy skills. So when we start talking about what is the real problem, we're trying to figure out, how does this observation that we've made make our potential customers feel? And once we know that, then we can start to develop a solution to help alleviate those pains that they don't want to feel and to create some feelings they do want to have. After we have truly identified the problem, then we start using the skills that we're developing in this class. This is when we can create to innovate. So we're working on our creativity skills. The more creative that we are, the more solutions we can think of to help solve that problem. So we want to think of great solutions, solutions that don't exist, and solutions that are better than our competitors. So we're using our creativity, first of all, to develop these solutions. Now, after we decide what these solutions are, we need to evaluate these to see which ones are opportunities. And not just opportunities, but which ones are entrepreneurial opportunities. That's key. They've got to be entrepreneurial opportunities. So we need to start, first of all, by looking at each one of these solutions and deciding which ones are timely, which ones are durable, and which ones are attractive. Now, every opportunity must have all three of these components. If we want to make this an entrepreneurial opportunity, then we're going to add one more component, and that component is value, because we need to be sure that the customers will spend money on this solution. So as we look through each one of these solutions to determine which one is an opportunity, we're making sure, like I said, that the solution is timely, durable, attractive, and that it has value, meaning our customers will buy it. Let's insert here Timon's model of entrepreneurship that we talked about. And sometimes I draw the circles in the right places and sometimes not, but you know what I mean. And Timon's model of entrepreneurship tells us that there were four constructs of entrepreneurship. There was the opportunity, the team, and the resources. And all of these, well, let's do that one again. Let's start that one over real quick. And resources. And all of these are affected by the fourth construct, which is uncertainty. Timmons also tells us that entrepreneurship is driven by market demand. So let's spend a minute here to link some of the things that we've been talking about through 386 and 387 so that you can understand how to better think about these things critically. If entrepreneurship is driven by the market must demand it, and we're trying to evaluate which solutions are actually opportunities, then what we must do is decide if the market thinks the opportunity is timely. Does the market think it's durable? Does the market think it's attractive? And will the market spend money on it? Does it create value for them? The market can also be called your customer segments. Remember that business canvas? Customer segments, or maybe it's your target market. So at this point, as we're determining which one of our solutions are truly opportunities that are driven by the market, We are working to determine this, the opportunity. Also in this, we see here that he talked about the team. Well, if we wanted, we could link this all the way back over to here, because way in the beginning of 386, you learned how to create the team. After we've identified the opportunity, we may find that we need to add more members of the team to help us with specific parts of that opportunity that require expertise. Perhaps we need a chief technical officer, or perhaps we need someone who's an expert in marketing. But you can start to see how what you learned about developing a good team is tied to Timmons' model of entrepreneurship. You can also see here how the opportunity is tied to the solutions. We're also going to talk about resources. And if you remember in Timmons' model of entrepreneurship, when he talked about resources, he didn't say that we needed to use all the resources in the world to start our businesses. Instead, he said we only need to use adequate resources. And he, combined with another researcher named Blank, have practiced something that we call the lean startup. And this is where we use only adequate resources to start the business, just enough to get us going. And the reason that we do that is because it helps to eliminate, or, well, not eliminate, it helps to minimize risk, in that the less you have invested, the less you have to lose. It also helps to minimize uncertainty. So it helps quite a bit. But to take this a little bit further and to think about adequate resources as it pertains to creativity or this class, there's a lot of research out there that tells us that if you have a scarcity of resources, then you tend to be much more creative when trying to solve problems. So scarcity of resources causes us to be more creative. Now, if you don't believe this is true, just think about a time where it was 2 a.m. It was 2 a.m. and you are famished. You go into your kitchen only to realize you really have very few groceries, but you're starving. So you just make do. You look at the scarcity of resources, pick some of them out, and put them together in a way that is satisfying, and you eat something. You eat something that you normally wouldn't eat. It is solving the problem. You're not hungry anymore. But you didn't solve it in the same way that you would have if you'd had plenty of groceries in the kitchen. Perhaps if you had, you'd have gone into the kitchen and just made another ham sandwich. No creativity there. It's the thing that you normally do. So you can see how when there is a scarcity of resources, we are more creative. Now, this is a lot of info that I've given you here on the whiteboard. And all of this is just meant to show you how things are starting to relate, the things that you've learned. Why self-awareness and all of the things we've learned there are important with helping you choose your team. Why choosing a team is really important in the entrepreneurial process to help you be successful. How we must use empathy to truly identify a problem, because businesses solve problems, not observations. And once we identify the problem, how we need to be creative so that we can be innovative and develop solutions to solve that problem. After we've come up with some solutions, we know now how to evaluate those solutions to see which one is a good entrepreneurial opportunity. Back here to Timmons' model of entrepreneurship. The way that we identify which of those solutions are opportunities are by letting the market tell us if that solution is timely, durable, attractive, and has value, and that they will spend money on it. The market is also known as customer segments, or the target market. We're going to use adequate, lean resources to open this business to help us once again keep risk low and uncertainty low. And we also know that that's going to help us on the other side to be more creative. Scarce resources tend to lead to better creativity. So once we've done this, we're at a point where we can kind of talk about the business canvas again. And you guys can pull out the business canvas. It's going to look much better than the one that I'm drawing here. Give me 1 second. Here. So this is the business canvas. Now we have to do all of the work that we just discussed before we're really ready to look at the business canvas. And what we've done here is, first of all, we have hypothesized on who we think our customer segments are going to be. This is the right-hand portion of your business canvas. And the way that we can kind of make a really good guess as to who our customer segments might be is to take this all the way back to the observation. We observed a demographic of people, and we determined a problem based on the demographic of people we saw. We used empathy to put ourselves in their shoes. So let's start there with them being our first customer segment. Now, when you determine a customer segment, be very specific, very, very specific. We talk about this a lot in 386. Once we know our customer segment and we know which opportunity that we want to pursue, we can now write our value proposition. So here we have 1 and 2, the order we're going to go in to complete the business canvas. The value proposition is simply put, it is the statement that tells the customers why they should choose our product over any of the competitors. It tells them why our solution is the best in the market and why our solution will work for them. So we're ready to do this now. Now, like I said, this is just a really good recap of everything that you have already learned in 386 and 387. But like I said, I don't want you to lose sight of all of this as you get ready to be creative and do some fun things. Because even though we are being creative and going to do some fun things, we still have to remember all of these concepts and incorporate them into our deliverables. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing screen with you now and come back and talk to you. That was a lot to go over, and this is like the 5th time I've gone through that today. So I apologize if my throat is dry and I'm twisting my words a little bit. I love talking about this stuff, and I love how it all links together. And I love showing you how it all matters. It all matters as well in your personal life, whether you want to be an entrepreneur or you want to interview for a job. Now, you will notice I sent an email out today about some opportunities. Those are opportunities revolving around possible internships and possible student groups. As you look at those, think about your personal value proposition in the internships and how would you position yourself so that if you're being interviewed, why would they choose you? What can you offer that helps them solve their problems that makes you better than everyone else that's interviewing for that job or that internship? You need to remember that and keep these things in mind so you can use these skills for many, many things. Look over those opportunities. One is in LinkedIn. It's a link to a guy who's graduated from the University of Alabama with an MBA and has Fledging, which is a startup, and they're looking for some interns. But look fast because these opportunities will fly by. The other one is with a friend of mine who is working in a startup. They own a business, they own a pharmacy locally, and she's looking at starting a breast pump business, and she would like to have a student work with her on that. That's as much as I know about it right now because she just texted me this morning with this opportunity. As I know more information, I'll tell you. But if that interests you and you think that you would like to work with her, email me and send me your resume and I'll pass them along to her. And then you two can talk about what's going to happen and she can interview you. The other 2 things I'd like to talk to you about are student groups. One is the GRIT group. It is a group of students who major in management or general business, and it is specifically for you. You must apply to be in this group and be accepted. You'll go through an interview process. But what we're working on in this student group, and it's a startup student group, which is super fun, is to work on growth, resilience, integrity, and tenacity. And these are some of the skills that industry has told us that they want to see more developed in you. Now, we don't have a class specifically that works on that, which is why this student group will be a great way for you to develop those skills. It'll also give you some experience that you can put on your resume to help you develop that personal value proposition and give you more reasons why future employers should choose you. The next student group that I want to talk to you about is called CEO, and that is the Collegiate Entrepreneurship Organization. Now, this is actually an international organization that has chapters at different universities. We have had a chapter at the University of Alabama, but it hasn't really taken off. And so some people asked me if I would take it over this year and try to get it up off the ground. I put the link to CEO into the email that I sent you all. What I'd like for you to do right now is to please just go look at the website, see if this interests you in the least, and if so, just kind of stay in touch. I will start recruiting for this group in October, and I'll be in touch with you about more information for CEO. Okay, now that's a lot. We've talked about the entrepreneurial process, and we've done a good summary. And I've talked to you about some opportunities for you to get internships and possibly join some student groups to help you develop your skill sets. Now I want to take it back to class. And in class today, you were asked to find an item that started with the letter A. So for all of my virtual students, I want you to get your item. You need to have that item with you that starts with an A. Get the item and put it in front of you. And when you do this, then we're going to jump into the creative part of this class. What we're going to do now is I want you to think back to last class. And in last class, I gave you 5 or 6 different ways that you can tap back into the creative portion of your brain. And your job is to find which one of those works best for you. So you're going to have to try them all out to see which one works best. So right now, I just want you to choose one of them, whether it's purposeful mind wandering or taking a brief walk. And I want you to take about 5 minutes to tap back into your creative portion of your brain, whatever it is for you that works. Take 5 minutes. I want you to pause me, pause this, go whatever it is for you. And then when you come back, I want you to be ready to be creative. So pause me for 5 minutes and then come back. Okay, you're back. You're back. And what I want you to do now is get a bit creative for me. I want you to look at that item that you brought, that item that starts with an A. And I want you to hold it up and I want you to snap a picture of yourself holding this item. I want you to email this item to me. And along with that, I want you to give me a few things, pieces of information. First of all, tell us your name. Tell us the name of the item and what that item is normally used for. Those are 3 pieces of information. The 4th and 5th piece of information that I want you to give me in this email when you send the picture is going to make you be a bit creative. And what I want you to do is I want you to think of an alternative name for your item. And I want you to think of an alternative use for your item. And I want you to write those down and I want you to send those to me in an email. And I put that in the directions for part 1, as part of part 1 for your items that start with A assignment. Now remember, as you're thinking of the alternative name and the alternative use for this product, if you just tell me like this is an Apple Watch, or then you say smartwatch, that's not something you created. Those are things that already exist. This needs to be something you create and make up. Make it funny. Make it whatever you want it to be, but make up something. Be creative. It's the same for the alternative use. If you say, yeah, this is used to tell time, that's the common use. Another use for it is it links to my phone. Okay, well, everybody knows that. That's not creative. So your alternative name and your alternative use need to be creative. So you're going to send that to me in an email and send it to me tomorrow by lunch. I want the picture and those 5 pieces of information. I'm going to take those pictures and I'm going to share them with my 3 classes that meet in person. And it's going to help them with part 1 and 2 of the items that start with A. For you, let's move on to the next portion of your assignment, items that start with A. I am going to post a video for you all of one of my classes today, and it is all of my students in that class showing you their item that starts with A and the name, the common use, the alternative name, and the alternative use. Now, it is your job to watch this video and to write down all the students' names and the students' products. So as you watch the video, you have to write all that down. You also have to write down their alternative name and their alternative use. Write it all down and keep that because you're going to need that to be able to complete the assignment in part 1. So for part 1, I want you to look. I have posted an Excel template on both ginasimpson.online and also in Blackboard. And what I want you to do is I want you to go fill this template in. You're going to put the students' names that you watched. You're going to put their item that starts with A, what they said the alternative name and use were, and then you have to create an alternative name and an alternative use for all of those products. And I want you to turn that in to me, turn it in on Blackboard before 5 o'clock tomorrow. So to recap, send me a picture with your item that starts with A. Tell me the name of it and the common use. Then you are to make up an alternative name and an alternative use. You are then to watch the video of all the students showing you their items that start with A. After you do that, then go to Blackboard, pull up the assignment, and I want you to fill in the Excel spreadsheet, list all of the students' names, list all of the products that they showed you, their alternative names, their alternative uses, and then I want you to make up your own alternative name and alternative use for each one of those products. This is really going to help you to stretch your creative skills. Now, if you have any questions about that as part of the assignment, let me know. I'm going to stop this video here, let you get started on that, and then I'm going to come right back with another video that tells you what we're going to do with that so that you can move on to part 2, the big part of this assignment. If you have any questions, let me know. See you soon.